Picture this. You're in a crowded room, conversations buzzing around you like white noise, when suddenly someone says something so profound, so unexpectedly genuine, that time seems to pause. The words weren't particularly eloquent. They weren't rehearsed pickup lines, and they certainly weren't the typical compliments you hear every day. Yet something about them cut through all the superficial chatter and reached something deeper, something real. That moment of authentic human connection is rarer than we'd like to admit, and it's becoming increasingly elusive in our world of scripted interactions and surface-level exchanges. Most people navigate social interactions with the predictable playbook. They offer the same tired compliments, make the same small talk, and wonder why their words seem to bounce off others without leaving any lasting impression. They're operating from a place of insecurity, desperately trying to say what they think others want to hear, rather than speaking from a place of genuine observation and authentic presence. But what if there was another way? What if the most powerful compliments weren't about beauty, success, or achievement, but about something far more profound: the recognition of someone's authentic essence? The truth is, most compliments are forgettable because they're interchangeable. When someone says, "You're beautiful," or "You look great," these words carry little weight because they could be said to anyone. They don't demonstrate any real seeing, any genuine attention, or any depth of understanding about the person receiving them. They're the verbal equivalent of fast food: quick, easy, and ultimately unsatisfying. But there exists a different category of compliments entirely, ones that emerge from a place of genuine observation, emotional intelligence, and personal strength. These aren't compliments designed to manipulate or impress. They're expressions of authentic recognition that can create profound moments of connection. The first of these transformative compliments centers around recognizing someone's unique presence and energy. When you tell someone, "You move differently," you're acknowledging something that goes far beyond physical appearance. You're recognizing their self-possession, their confidence, their way of being in the world that sets them apart from others. This isn't about how they look in a dress or how perfectly they've applied their makeup. It's about the energy they carry, the way they inhabit their own skin, the quiet confidence that radiates from within. Consider the woman who enters a room without fanfare, without drawing attention to herself through loud conversation or dramatic gestures, yet somehow commands respect simply through her presence. She's not performing for anyone. She's simply being authentically herself. When you recognize this quality in someone, when you see past the external trappings to acknowledge their inner strength and self-awareness, you're offering something rare. You're saying, "I see you, just how you present yourself to the world, but who you actually are." This type of compliment works because it demonstrates several crucial qualities about the person giving it. First, it shows that you're observant, that you pay attention to subtleties that others miss. Second, it reveals that you value substance over surface, depth over superficiality. Most importantly, indicates that you're secure enough in yourself to recognize and appreciate strength in others without feeling threatened by it. Insecure people often feel compelled to diminish others or focus on qualities that make them feel superior. But when you can genuinely appreciate someone's authentic presence, you're operating from a place of inner strength and confidence. The power of this compliment also lies in its specificity. Instead of offering generic praise that could apply to anyone, you're acknowledging something uniquely theirs. You're recognizing the particular way they move through the world, their individual energy signature, their personal brand of confidence. This level of attention and recognition is incredibly rare, which is precisely why it has such impact when it occurs. The second transformative compliment revolves around the appreciation of comfortable silence and depth. In our hyper-connected, constantly chattering world, the ability to be comfortable with silence has become increasingly rare. Most people feel compelled to fill every pause with words, to avoid any moment of quiet that might feel awkward or uncomfortable. Social media has only amplified this tendency, creating a culture where constant communication and immediate response have become the norm. When you encounter someone who can sit comfortably in silence, who doesn't feel the need to fill every moment with chatter, you've found something special. These individuals possess a rare quality: they're comfortable with themselves and with the natural rhythms of conversation. They don't need constant validation through words. They don't fear the spaces between thoughts, and they understand that sometimes the most meaningful communication happens in what's not said. Recognizing this quality by saying, "You make silence feel full," accomplishes several things simultaneously. First, it acknowledges a sophisticated emotional and social skill that most people don't even recognize as valuable. Second, it reveals your own comfort with depth and introspection. Most people are afraid of silence because it forces them to confront their own thoughts and feelings without distraction. When you can appreciate silence in another person, you're demonstrating that you're not afraid of depth, of contemplation, of the spaces where real intimacy can develop. This compliment also speaks to the quality of presence. Someone who makes silence feel full isn't just quiet, they're present, engaged, and attentive even when they're not speaking. Their silence isn't empty or uncomfortable. It's rich with awareness, understanding, and connection. They're listening, not just with their ears, but with their entire being, creating space for authentic communication to emerge. The appreciation of comfortable silence also indicates emotional maturity. Immature individuals often interpret silence as rejection, disinterest, or awkwardness. They feel compelled to perform, to entertain, to constantly prove their worth through words. But mature individuals understand that silence can be companionable, contemplative, and even intimate. They recognize that some of the most profound moments of connection happen not when we're talking, but when we're simply being present with one another. The third, and perhaps most profound compliment involves recognizing how someone carries their struggles and pain. Every person you meet is fighting battles you know nothing about, carrying wounds that may be invisible to casual observation. Most people either try to hide their pain completely or wear it as a badge of honor, seeking sympathy or attention through their struggles. But there's a rare category of individuals who carry their pain with grace, dignity, and strength. When you say, "Respect how you carry your pain," you're acknowledging something deeply personal and profoundly human. You're recognizing that this person has faced difficulties, perhaps significant ones, but has chosen to bear them with dignity rather than allowing them to consume or define them. You're seeing past their composed exterior to acknowledge the strength it takes to continue moving forward despite whatever challenges they've faced. This compliment requires exceptional emotional intelligence and maturity to offer authentically. You can't fake this kind of recognition because it requires genuine observation and empathy. You must be able to see the subtle signs of someone who has weathered storms, the particular kind of strength that comes only from having been tested and choosing to remain whole. It's visible in small things: the way they listen to others with deep compassion, their lack of judgment toward people's imperfections, their ability to find meaning and purpose despite setbacks. More importantly, offering this compliment requires that you've done significant work on yourself. You can only recognize strength in others when you've developed it within yourself. You can only appreciate how someone carries their pain when you've learned to carry your own with dignity. This isn't about being drawn to broken people or trying to fix someone. It's about recognizing the particular beauty that emerges from someone who has been refined by difficulty but hasn't lost their essential humanity. The power of this compliment lies in its respect for the person's journey without trying to minimize their experience or offer solutions. You're not saying everything happens for a reason, or at least you're stronger now. You're simply acknowledging that they've faced difficulty and chosen to handle it with grace. This kind of recognition can be profoundly healing because it honors their struggle without treating them as a victim or a project. What makes these three compliments so powerful is that they all emerge from the same fundamental place: authentic observation coupled with inner strength. They can't be manufactured or scripted because they require genuine seeing, real presence, and personal development. They work not because they're clever techniques or manipulation tactics, but because they represent authentic recognition of another person's essence. In our world of superficial interactions and performative relationships, authentic recognition has become increasingly rare, and therefore increasingly powerful. Most people are starving for genuine connection, for someone who sees past their carefully constructed facades to recognize who they really are. When you can offer this kind of authentic acknowledgement, you're providing something that very few people can give. The development of this capacity requires significant personal work. You must become comfortable with your own depths before you can recognize depth in others. You must develop your own presence before you can appreciate presence in someone else. You must learn to carry your own pain with dignity before you can recognize and respect how others carry theirs. This is why these compliments can't be taught as mere techniques. They emerge naturally from personal development and emotional maturity. These compliments also work because they demonstrate several attractive qualities simultaneously. They show that you're observant, that you value substance, that you're comfortable with depth, and that you've done work on yourself. They indicate emotional intelligence, maturity, and strength. Most importantly, they demonstrate that you're operating from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You're not desperately seeking approval or trying to impress, but rather offering genuine recognition because you're secure enough to appreciate excellence in others. The contrast with typical compliments is stark. Most people offer praise that's either generic, self-serving, or designed to generate a particular response. They compliment appearance because it's safe and obvious. They praise achievements because they're measurable and socially accepted. But they rarely acknowledge the deeper qualities that make someone truly remarkable: their presence, their depth, their resilience, their particular way of being in the world. The transformative power of authentic recognition extends far beyond romantic relationships. These principles apply to all human interactions: friendships, professional relationships, family dynamics. When you can genuinely see and acknowledge what makes someone unique and valuable, you create the foundation for meaningful connection. You demonstrate that you're someone worth knowing because you're capable of truly knowing others. In a world increasingly dominated by shallow interactions and performative relationships, the ability to offer authentic recognition becomes a superpower. It sets you apart not because you're trying to be different, but because you've developed the capacity to see what others miss. You've learned to look beyond the surface, to recognize the essence of who someone really is. The journey toward developing this capacity is ultimately a journey toward becoming more fully yourself. As you learn to see others clearly, you also learn to see yourself more clearly. As you develop the strength to appreciate depth in others, you develop depth within yourself. As you learn to offer authentic recognition, you become someone worthy of receiving it. This is why these compliments are truly forbidden, in the sense that they're unavailable to most people. They require a level of personal development, emotional intelligence, and inner strength that many people never achieve. They can't be learned from a book or practiced in front of a mirror. They must emerge from genuine personal growth and authentic self-development. The man or woman who can offer these kinds of compliments has learned to value substance over surface, depth over superficiality, authentic connection over performative interaction. They've developed the rare ability to see what others miss and the courage to acknowledge it. In doing so, they become magnetic, not because they're trying to attract others, but because they've become genuinely attractive through their depth, presence, and authenticity. This is the true power of authentic recognition. It transforms not just the person receiving it, but the person offering it. It creates a cycle of genuine connection that elevates everyone involved, moving all parties away from the shallow exchanges that characterize most human interaction towards something deeper or meaningful, and ultimately more satisfying for everyone involved.